Welcome back. This is Leo of Baker to Baker, formerly known as King Nuttis Barbecue. I've made a pivot into my endeavors, YouTube career, whatever you want to call it. Not to say I'm going to stop doing barbecue. It's just more of a broad now spectrum of not just barbecue. I will be focusing a lot on bread, but what goes good with bread? Some meat. Pause. So follow me on this journey of bread making. I'm gonna do a lot of sourdough stuff, a lot of Hispanic inspired stuff. Let's see what else. Pretty much anything you need that involves flour of some sort and some naturally cultivated yeast or some produced yeast. So today, I'm gonna take you on a journey of how to make a Italian herb and cheese sourdough bread. I'm gonna bake them two different ways. This is gonna be a 2-batch loaf or 2-batch mix of dough. So if there's any, I'll probably put all the details in the description, percentages wise and blah blah blah, so forth like that. And that means my clothes are done. Like I was saying, this is going to be a 2-loaf mix. Pretty straightforward, kind of tedious on the long run. I've been doing sourdough for a little over a year and a half now. All the details, all the scientific stuff behind it, I'm gonna let you know as much as I know. If I'm wrong, correct me. If I'm right, give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, all that other shit. So let's get into it. First, let's start off with my leaven / sourdough starter. Oh. So this actually started last night. I did my normal feeding ratio of 1:1:1, which is 25 grams of the previous starter, 25 grams of water, 25 grams of flour. So by the morning, it was ready to be fed again to give me my leaven for the afternoon. So this morning, around 7 a.m., I mixed 40 grams of starter, 80 grams of water, 80 grams of flour to give me around 200 grams of leaven. I need about 140 for this recipe. But this, just have a little extra just in case, because I tend to go about 10 grams over on my recipe and not have enough. So I kind of go about 50 grams over, plus or minus, just so I get enough to make sure I'm not, scraping the bottom of my containers. So as of now, let's measure off this, pour some of this water out. So I have to add with the salt. Let's add the sourdough starter, or let's add the leaven to the water and then get everything in the mixer. I am privileged enough to have a dough mixer, a spiral mixer, cheap one on Amazon that I'll probably do a review later on. But it's so much easier, so much less messy on your hands. You could do this on a stand mixer, you could do it by hand. But as of now, we're gonna use my spiral mixer. But first, let's get all the ingredients together. All right. So like I said, I'm gonna pour off some of this water to the side. Put this on my scale. Zeroed out. So I need 157 grams of this leaven. What I like to use is a chopstick. It's easier just to gauge and just cut out. Come on. Good sign to show that your sourdough starter is ready to go is that it floats. This thing is sticky. All right, gone over 5 grams, which isn't gonna kill anybody. So now time to add this to our spiral mixer. All right, so my game plan is to do a fermento lease today. There is a auto lease where it's just mixing the water and flour, letting everything hydrate, then add the starter, mix, then add the salt, and continue on from there. Or you could add starter, flour, water, get that fermentation process going. It just seems to kind of be a little quicker on my end instead of having to pause, start. So first thing is, I'm gonna show you my mixture, what we're working with. Then we'll add some of the water, sourdough starter, flour, get that mixed up for a bit, covered it with a rag so it doesn't dry up. Let's go into the hardware real quick. So here, I'll zoom down, is my spiral mixer. Here's some of the details. This is a off-brand, I don't really want to use the term Chinese brand, but a lot of companies who do have brands and buying these and putting their own labels on there. The big company like Vivor has the exact same spiral mixer. It's not in this color. Like I said, this is very basic spiral mixer. Ended up buying this one on Walmart for about 400 bucks. Bowl does not attach. The bowl does not detach. The spinning hook does not remove or go up, so you have to clean everything in-house. There's only one speed, so kind of got to work with what you got. Some of the expensive ones, bowl removes, low speed, high speed, reverse, things like that. I'm gonna go in with our splash bag, water, and our leaven. I'm just gonna say sourdough starter because I'm gonna confuse the hell out of myself. But sourdough starter, water. Come on. Cage down and mix that up real quick. Next, we're gonna put in our flour. Like I said, bread flour with some wheat, just to give it some flavor. So we're just gonna mix this up till everything's incorporated. It's gonna be kind of shaggy. Periodically, I'll come through and scrape off some of the sides. Some of that won't get incorporated, which is what we don't want. Alright, if you see there's somewhat of a dough-ish thing, things are kind of all together. I'm going to scrape the bowl once again, kind of pack everything together. I will cover the bowl with a towel. If I'm being lazy, or lazy as in I want to get this done quicker, I'm going to let this rest for about 30 minutes. If I have time, which I do today, I'm going to let it rest for an hour to hydrate. So I'm going to cover this up and we'll be back in an hour. All right, we are back and I had a change of heart. Instead of waiting an hour, I waited 30 minutes. Just so we could get this show going. This is what the dough looks like. I'm gonna add the salt and a little bit of that water I reserved to the side. Adding the salt's gonna kind of make the dough separate. But we'll take a look as it's going. Let's see. So the dough just finished mixing. I'm gonna let it rest inside the mixer for an additional 5 minutes on top of the 8 minutes that we mixed it for. Just to let it rest. So when I pull it out, pause, when I take it out of the vessel, it's a little easier to work with. Let me do a rundown once again of what I did. Did a fermentolise where I mixed the sourdough starter, water, flour to hydrate. Let that set for about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how much time you got. After that, I mixed for 8 minutes. After the 8 minutes, I let rest for 5 minutes. Right now, we're at the end of that 5 minutes, where I'm gonna mix or turn on the mixer for about 30 seconds. Then we will pull out the dough and place it in this container. All right, another tip is to have a container of water, just water, clean water. Wet your hands so it doesn't stick. The dough doesn't stick to your hands. Get this here. There she goes. Just give it all slap and fold over here. Just to get into a ball. I'm gonna put the tiniest amount of oil in here just so it's easier to mix and incorporate. Tiniest amount, there's nothing in here. As of now, bread is about 83 degrees. The dough is about 83 degrees, if you can see that. This is the first 30 minutes. After that, it's going to be the first set of stretch and folds. Rest for an additional 30 minutes. Start doing the inclusions of cheese and the Italian seasoning. And we'll do that over the process of the next 2 hours. So as of now, this thing is just chilling. We'll be back in 30 minutes to do the first set of stretch and folds. Boy. All right. While we wait, it's time to prep our inclusions. Our inclusions consist of some just good old Italian seasoning and some cheese. For the seasoning, I just need 16 grams. Probably should have opened this off camera, but we are here. You can see, plentiful enough. What did I say, 2? 235, this weighs 222. I'll make it a little more cheesy. Do another sliver. 290. All right, we are 30 minutes in, ready for our first fold. Like I said, what helps, even if you're wearing gloves or not, cover them in water to get that first fold in there. My plan of attack, back to my regularly scheduled program, in the middle, kind of let it fall on itself. Grab in the middle. I'll probably do that here. If it's that way, grab in the middle. Let it kind of hang over itself. There's many ways to skin a cow. There's many ways to fold some sourdough. So to hang it over itself, hang over itself. You could go pull in, pull in. Anyways, stretch, fold, stretch, fold. Keep going until it kind of gives you some sort of resistance. Back in the ball. Back in it goes for another 30 minutes for our second stretch and fold, which we will start doing our inclusions. So this is our second stretch and fold out of 4. We're going to add some of our Italian seasoning, some of our cubed up cheddar. So, remember, wet hands. I'm not sure how good that's going to be. Okay, just going to sprinkle a little bit on there. So wet fingers, we're going to just dimple everything in there. Probably a little. Some of the cheese. The big stinking cheese. So as of now, this is what it looks like in there. So for this approach, I'm going to do some sort of lamination folds. Up, over, spin, up, over. Kind of bring everything in there. And as we keep adding the layers, we're just going to just make sure everything is well incorporated. Remember to also we're also stretching, remember, so we got to kind of bring it up, fold over. Bring it up, fold over. Bring it up, fold over. Anything falls out, bring it up, fold over. Just do that without ripping it at some point. As you can see, some of the cheese is already sticking out, so should be good for that one. All right, second stretch and fold done. First set of inclusions done. Close, back in 30. I skipped recording the third stretch and fold. We are now on our fourth stretch and fold out of 4 out of 4 within the past 2 hours. As you can see, it's kind of mixed up. Still got some seasoning left. Same protocol. Cover. Slightly wet your hands. Dimple. Put the last of that cheese. Bend. As we're bending, I'm gonna add the rest of this because there's still some left. So what I'm gonna do here is just try to get it into a nice ball. Just make sure everything's in there. That's how we're looking. So now that we're here, back into the container. And check the temperature before we start our bulk fermentation. 75. We started at 83, went down to 75. After all the stretch and folds, it's time for the bulk fermentation. I typically will place my containers in my oven with just the light on. Right now it's about to be 5. I'll probably be able to shape this around 9 o'clock at night, 9:30, 10. It's a Friday, so I'll be up regardless. So as of now, we're gonna put this in the oven with just the light on, just to give me a controlled environment, a warm environment, allow this thing to bulk. I am aiming probably for 50% rise. I will give you any updates if things happen, but if not, I'll see you when this is ready to be shaped. Let's go. It has been a few hours. Bulk fermentation has got to where it needs to be, I hope. It's also late, so I'm kind of rushing this because I am wanting to go to bed. So let's start off with what we need. We need obviously the dough, a scale, some all-purpose flour, and some rice flour, or Bannington's, dough scraper, and some willpower. I am currently using these wooden chip baskets. You know, when you go to a restaurant, they give you little chips, little salsa, with this kind of hairnet type thing. Makes it easier to keep things clean. Here is the star of the show. You can see it has smells delightful. You can see it's gotten quite bigger since the last time you've seen it. Come on. AP flour. Dust the top of it. So keep things from sticking. And half it goes. $7.91. Perfect. We're gonna flip our floured side down to the bottom side so things can move around. Wide, flip in the middle, wide, flip in the middle, flip in the middle, fold towards me, somewhat round it over, set to the side. This would be kind of like a pre-shape. And just like that, I'm gonna let these things hang out for about 20 minutes before we flour them in the rice flour and put them in the Banningtons. So now that these have been stretched again, I'm gonna let them sit out room temperature for another probably 30 minutes before I put them in the refrigerator. At this point, I will see you tomorrow morning. Pull these out the refrigerator, and let's bake some loaves. All right, welcome back to day 2 of this sourdough journey for this Italian herb and cheese sourdough. So I told you that I would be baking this not 2 different ways, just in 2 different vessels. First, we're going to be doing the standard loaf pan. So cover it up, boom, 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 get that out the way. Second will be a roasting pan. This will give you the traditional sourdough oval-ish type thing. This will give you obviously more of a square loaf sandwich type outcome. As of now, I got my oven preheating to 425. So as we wait for the oven to get to temp, we are bringing these loaves straight out from the fridge. Gonna score them, place them in the vessel, and bake them off. See you then. All right, it is time to bake these off. Let's see how we're looking. First, I'm gonna do the loaf pan. When it comes to doing loaf pans, I bought these pre-cut loaf liners. Just as simple in and out. So first, feed the loaf. So give it a good old Fuji album to score. So replace. Tend to tuck these little things in. Sometimes it stops the browningness of the bread. Just a little tuck. I add an ice cube and a spray of some water to give us that steam. Now for the roasting tray, it's just a piece of parchment. Why is it sticking? Good old cut from the lame. There she goes. Little ice cube. Spray her off. We're gonna cover and throw them in the oven. For this bake, we're going 20 minutes covered, between 18 to 20 minutes uncovered. So we'll check back in when this bread's done. All right, bread 1, loaf pan, success. Roasted pan, success. All right, ooh, up and close personal. Hey, how you doing? I'm gonna let these cool on a cooling rack. Come back in about an hour or so, slice up in that bad boy, and we'll see what the insides look like. Hey, yo. Check back in an hour. Peace. All right, the time has come to reap the benefits of our hard work the past 2 days. Let me get in a close shot so you see what this thing looks like. It's still kind of warm, but ain't nobody but me eating this on this one, so. Oh boy. Look at that beaut. Herbie Hancock over here. Wow. That looks good. There you have it, folks. Italian urban cheese sourdough. Once again, I have changed my name on my YouTube channel. It will be more bread heavy, but that does not mean or limit me to not making other proteins and other things like that. Overall, just a cooking page. I don't claim to be a professional. I'm not a professional. Just a self-taught individual who likes to eat, as you can tell by my stature. So, with that being said, subscribe. Follow me on the journey. Even if you don't have a food making thumb, bone, blood in your body, and you want to just support me, if you're a homie, you want to become a homie, holla at your boy. And that'll be it. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, let's go.